Hello and welcome to Europe. That's right, AFC Wimbledon are on tour. Womble's on tour. We're hanging out at the Wando Metropolitano, where somehow Wimbledon have managed to draw 70,000 people to their thrilling fake competition semifinal. I want to win this fake cup so bad, Meredith. Like, I look at that cup and I just want to own it. I want it in our trophy case. I know that it doesn't mean anything, but I want to win, and we're playing against Chaves. Are they good? I don't know. Where are they from? I don't know. Can you Google where Chaves is from? I'm the leading goal scorer, however, in this fake international competition. Aaron and Julian donated the project for Awesome, and they wrote this. We're getting married in October. Congratulations. Planning is getting stressful. Well, that goes without saying. We want to invite a lot of people and have a good time, but we don't have a lot of money and everything is so expensive. Trying to balance making our families happy and making ourselves happy is also tricky. Do you have any wedding planning advice for us? Oh, do I have wedding planning advice? Yes, I've got a lot. I can solve your wedding planning problems. The weird thing about a wedding, as opposed to every other human activity, is that, and I guess maybe funerals are the same, people charge way more for the same thing. Like, the amount of money that we spent on flowers at our wedding. I can't remember if B is pass, B is shoot. Great. Good to know. Well, at least I learned that early on. It's been a while since I played this game. But now that I know his A is pass, just watch me dominate Chaves. Where are they from, Meredith? They're from Portugal. Well, they're not one of the most famous teams in Portugal. Those are Benfica and Porto. So I'm playing the third best Portuguese team. Surely I can beat them. I thought that was... By the way, these guys look kind of like referees to me. I'm having a little trouble telling where the referee is. Oh, I guess the referee's in yellow. So I shouldn't... that's not the reason I'm sucking. It's because of who I am as a player. Weddings, and to a lesser extent funerals, cost way more than they should because the things that you spend money on, like I believe that there is a crazy wedding markup. Like, no dress. I don't know that much about dresses, but I don't think there are a lot of dresses in the world that cost like $7,000. Like, I think most times, like, even a fancy dress doesn't cost $7,000 until it's for a wedding, and then it does cost $7,000 or whatever. I don't even know how much. They probably cost more than that. I don't know. It's like buying a car. Like, buying the flowers for a wedding is like purchasing a vehicle that dies in 4 days. It's a crazy situation. And the thing is, Aaron and Julian, I think weddings are great and you want to have a good time at your wedding, but it is not the most important part of your marriage. Like, it's kind of the worst day of your marriage. Well, I don't know. I had a lovely wedding. I don't want to sound ungrateful. Not least because I didn't pay for hardly any of our wedding. Sarah's parents did, which I really, really appreciate. And it was an awesome, awesome occasion. But like, it wasn't. What matters is your marriage. Oh, I'm in big trouble. Off the post, and Raffo. Well, clearly I'm not as good as Chaves. That's the one thing we've learned so far, is that I am inferior in every way to the third best team in Portugal. It went wide. Here's what I would do if I were you. If it's your wedding and you're paying for the wedding, then you need to explain to your parents or your families or whomever that it's your wedding and you're paying for the wedding and it's expensive. And because it's expensive, there are going to be sacrifices that get made. Like, your parents' eighth best friends are not coming to the wedding because it's not their wedding, it's your wedding. And I know that can be like a really hard conversation to have with your parents, especially when you're young, but I think it's important, and it sets a tone for what happens after that, for like how you're going to live your life together, and how you're going to have to be I passed it to the wrong guy. How you're going to have to be like that relationship, the relationship with your spouse, becomes the primary relationship in your life. And it's a big adjustment, because it's a big adjustment for parents too, because, like right now, my relationship with my kids, like their primary relationship is with me. And when their primary relationship isn't with me anymore, and it's with some stranger from, I don't know, New Jersey or you know, Kazakhstan. I don't know where Alice and Henry's spouses are going to be from. But whatever, like it's some person you don't know is the relevant thing, in all likelihood, and that's weird. And so I think you've got to be able to see that from your parents' perspective a little bit. But they need to understand that it is your wedding, and it is your wedding in terms of who's paying for it, and it's your wedding in terms of who's getting married, and you want to have a good time, and so you should have a good time. Here are things that I think that you should save money on. I think that instead of having some fancy open bar, either have a cash bar. Meredith doesn't like that at all. Or just beer and wine, because like nobody needs spirits. It's not an occasion that requires excessive spirits. Like the excessive drinking of spirits, in my experience anyway, can ruin a wedding rather than make one. Like, oh, come on. They had so many great shots where they could have scored awesome goals, and then they scored that total crap goal with a dink over Raffo. Raffo needs, I'm sorry, Raffo, you need to do better there. That was a slow motion goal. Come on. Raffo, take a half step to the left instead of jumping up and down. He jumped up and down 3 times before diving to the left. If he'd taken a half step, it would have, whatever. I'm not gonna win. I never win any trophies. I just want to be a trophy winner. The other thing that I think you can save money on is by asking yourself what you really value in a wedding, like in the weddings that you've been to, what made them fun. Like if you're a person who loves to dance and like desperately wants a swing band at your wedding, then go all in on the swing band and don't spend any money on the bridal costumings or the tuxedos or whatever, you know? Or if you're like you don't need to wear a tuxedo at your wedding to have a good marriage. Sometimes I think it feels like you forget that though. Like when all the planning is being done and everything, it feels like, God, maybe I do need to wear an expensive tuxedo to have a good marriage, because all the people who are giving you advice are people who are incentivized to make you spend more money on your wedding, right? Like that's oh, come on, I was turned in the other direction. That's just ridiculous. This is going very poorly. Okay, that's good. And then to John Green, and then John Green. Get there, John Green. Okay, it's a corner kick. No, it's a throw-in. Mr. Managrini is frustrated, and when he's frustrated, he puts his arms in his armpits. That's something I've noticed about him. It's a weird habit he has. It's kind of cute. Here's the biggest piece of advice I have. I've scored a goal. It's 1-1. They're John Green with the rugby tackle. Try to make your wedding about the life that you've had together so far and the life that you're looking forward to having together. Try to make it, insofar as possible, an actual celebration. And the things that don't help you celebrate, don't have them. The things that stress you out, don't have them. If there's no flowers at your wedding, that's okay. It's not a big deal. It's fine. It really is. Like, if you don't want to make centerpieces for the tables, that's fine. If you don't want to have tables or a sit-down dinner, that's fine. If you don't want to serve food, people will figure it out. Like, it's about you. Like, we had a very fancy wedding. Not to brag, but it was quite fancy. You know, we got married in a church, all that stuff, because that was really important to us. Like, we wanted to get married in a church. We wanted to get married, you know, like in the church where Sarah had grown up, and we wanted to, like, the things that were important to us were that we get married in a place that, you know, mattered to Sarah, that we have the reception in a place that, like, you know, was important to her and that, like, reflected the life that she'd had in the city where she'd grown up. Oh, God, I'm so bad at defense. And all of that was really important, and we did all of that. The things that were less important, like, it was not important to us, like, what kind of car drove us to the reception, you know, like, to cite one example. Like, it just wasn't our thing. Now, some people, it will be their thing. Like, the band wasn't really our thing. I'm not a big dancer. We knew we were going to have to take a ton of pictures. Oh, that's the other thing, is, like, you know, like, having a ton of pictures was important to us, and probably especially important to our families, but also important to us. And I'd say that we look at those pictures sometimes. But, like, ultimately, like the period of engagement. I mean, I know that this sounds old and fuddy-duddy, but like I really believe that the period of engagement is for thinking about marriage more than for thinking about the wedding. Like the job is to plan and prepare for a wedding. Like I mean a marriage. Like that's going to be like the hard, interesting thing about your life together. And the one day that you spend together getting married is hopefully going to be fun. But even if it's not fun, it's one day out of, ideally something like, I don't know, 20,000 that you're going to spend with this person. That's probably a little ambitious. I don't know how old you guys are, but realistically, we're talking more like 15,000. Wait, what just happened? Why did I bring on what? I just did, all I did, Meredith, was what I was advised to do by my assistant manager, but that resulted in Will Grigg, a striker, being brought on for Darius Charles, a central defender, which, I mean, nothing could have been worse. So, well, except for maybe bringing on, okay, so we're going to keep our goalkeeper in goal, and then we're going to bring on Cuesta and put him in central defense because he's actually a defender. Will Grigg can't even play striker, let alone defender. All right, he's the worst signing I've ever made. Okay, here we go. We're making all our substitutions because this is a preseason game and we're supposed to be learning about our players. But really, we want to win. We want to be victors. Oh, boy. Okay. All right. It's our ball. I'm not making another substitution. I don't trust you anymore, my assistant manager. Invest in the stuff that matters to you. Do not pay for stuff that is extra, and tell your friends and family that it is your wedding and that you love them, but that you need them to respect the fact that it is your wedding. And that's a hard thing to do. I'm not pretending it's easy or simple, but that's the way to do it, in my opinion. Meredith, do you have any other thoughts on this? Oh, if my family recommended something that I ended up being that I do something I ended up being happy I did. No. I mean, maybe. Let me think more about that. As Gummy tries to score, oh my God, Ball John Green, you've got to be there in that situation, my man. You've got to be crashing the net, as it were. Ball John Green off the post. Other John Green, it's a goal in the last second of the game. Oh my God, it's the 89th minute. Ball John Green to other John Green. Oh my God. Oh, the drama of this meaningless preseason game. We're one win away, guys. We're one win away from that beautiful fake Cuppity Cup. Oh, it's Ball John Green. I mean, just hammered it, and then it fell to his husband. It fell to the right man at the right time. What is this? Yes, I will make that substitution. I will, because I think it's time to bring. I'm very excited about this Icelandic man. I just really hope it works out with him. We'll see. We're going to bring him on, make our last substitution, give John Green the standing ovation that he deserves. Beautiful stuff from the John Greens. I mean, that's what happens when you love each other. Yeah, okay. I thought more about it, and I wanted to have a DJ, and having a band was really, really lovely. For us. I don't think it'd be lovely for everyone, but for us it was lovely. And like they played two songs, like the first dance song that's with Sarah and her dad, and the first dance song with my mom and me were just lovely. You know, the song I danced with my mom to was Mama Tried by Merle Haggard, which has the chorus, I spent 21 years in prison doing life without parole. No one could turn me right, but Mama tried. Thanks for watching. Best wishes.